everybody. This morning we've got a really exciting book that we're going to be launching here at Dean Publishing, and I know that a few people will be joining us live here on Facebook, and some may be watching this later. So it's definitely something that I think people should watch and learn lots about as I interview the amazing author that we've got coming up, because you're not only going to learn about the great book, the great read that you can have, but you're also going to learn a bit about, you know, what coaching is, what message is inside of the book, and learn a little bit more about Katrina. So welcome this morning, Katrina, to your amazing book launch.
And good morning, Susan. Thank you so much for having me.
I love your backdrop, which is gorgeous. As you know, we all love a book here, and your book is absolutely beautiful. I've got it here in my hand, and it's not just beautiful in its content, but it's a beautiful book to read, and it's a beautiful presented book. You know, we've got some absolutely gorgeous images throughout, and it's just beautifully presented and an easy read. So Katrina, I met at a coaching event. We're both lovers of coaching, and we hope that you'll learn a little bit about and Katrina's spin on what coaching's about. But we met at a coaching event and happened to also both live in the Macedon Ranges. So it was quite funny that we met at an event and then we found out that we are actually not far from each other. So first of all, before we sort of get into the book, which I know a lot of this covers it, but Katrina, tell us a little bit about, you know, what got you into the coaching space?
So, Susan, thank you. So it certainly wasn't something that I was thinking of doing or even on my radar. And the reason I actually got into coaching, I sort of, I guess, fell into coaching, is when our son went to specialised school. When we were navigating his diagnosis, because he's actually neurodiverse, we actually took him to a school outside of mainstream schooling for a couple of days a week. And the principal and some of the teachers there would then share my number with other parents when they first received a neurodiverse diagnosis for their child. So I started helping out other parents just by listening to them, giving them not really my advice, but just sharing our story with them and sharing the techniques that we'd implemented in our lives. And that led me on. I'd studied psychology and counselling previously, was working with a global legacy airline at the time. So coaching for me was a way of giving back. And because I love learning, I then decided that I actually needed to study coaching and went through an 18-month intensive coaching experience to become a certified coach, and actually started working for my mentor for quite a while as well. But I wanted just to give back to other parents, particularly mothers, who woke up and realised they were parenting a child that they hadn't expected, but parenting this new and wonderful being that they were so blessed to have in their lives. But sometimes parenting, as we know, can be a little bit tricky. And when you add neurodiversity into the mix, it adds differences. I'm not going to say complications, but it adds a few more differences. And just being able to be on the end of the phone line or on Skype with another mum, just to let them know that I was there holding their hand, sometimes being their cheerleader. And coaching is about not only walking beside a person holding their hand, but sometimes it can be pulling a person or it can be pushing a person. So coaching is not about telling you how to live your life. It's about asking you the right questions so you then decide how you want your life to look like, or how you want actually to be living today. And I'm very fortunate that I'm able to then bring organisation into coaching as well, because something I learnt really early on working with mums, and now I work with all mums, not just mums parenting neurodiverse children, something I learned very early on. I wanted my mums to practice true self-care. Now, self-care is not about having bubble baths and massages, that's part of it, but I wanted them to practice true self-care. And I realised really early on that if they were looking at a mountain of dishes or a mountain of washing or worried about school lunches or school uniforms, that there was too much else going on for them. So we needed to get that all organised first. And that's where empowerment through organisation came from.
Fantastic. I absolutely love that. And you know that I'm a lover of coaching. I believe everyone should have a coach and a coach that's, you know, specific in that area, like you said, working with neurodiverse children. Can you tell me what that is for those here that don't know what that is? I know that you work with all mums, and I love the fact that you know, you're not just helping them with what their challenges are, but to get them organised, because we all know when things are organised, we're a little bit, you know, stress-free because we know where things are. And I love that uniqueness that you put into it that is so important. But just for those that don't know, can you explain a little bit more about what a neurodiverse, if I've said that correctly, child is?
So neurodiversity is just any intellectual difference. So it's not a disability, it's not a deficit, it's not something that needs to be cured or anything like that. It's just a difference in how people think. So some of the words you might have heard is ASD, ADHD, ADD, dyspraxia, dyscalculia, dyslexia. So anything that's going to change the way a child learns or the way a child interacts with their environment. It can be gifted as well. And what we found out very early on, our son is actually twice exceptional, which is 2E, which means that he's gifted with a difference. So we had quite a few things going on. So neurodiversity is just a difference, and that's all it is. And it's finding out how to best support that mum in supporting their child's difference.
Yeah, I love that. Thanks for that explanation. And I think that you're right. I mean, I always say it's like the queen bee, you know, when the mum or when the wife, you know, I always keep saying to my husband, you know, happy wife, happy life, like, but really the woman really is the powerhouse that holds everything together. And I think what's really important is that you know, a lot of mums, we always invest in our kids and we'll go and buy them outfits that are more expensive than what we'd ever spend on ourselves. We're just, I know, you know, so many mums that will do that, but it's about investing in you as the mum, because I've always invested in a coach and self-development. And I know the better that I am, the more balanced that I am, the more stress-free that I am, the better that I can be the best mum, you know, the best wife that I can be. If I know how to communicate better, if I understand what I'm doing or what's going on around me, or, you know, like you said, understanding your child, whatever that might be, the more that you invest in yourself, the better that you actually are. So for those that kind of go, you know, those mums that don't spend on themselves and spend more on their children, you know, just know that when you're investing in yourself, you're investing in, you know, even just purchasing a book like this to understand more, to you know, getting coaching, to investing, you're investing actually in your family, and you're investing in your kids probably more than that outfit or that, you know, item that you can buy them. By investing in you, you're actually investing in your family. And I'm sure that you would have to agree with that too, Katrina.
Yes, definitely. And I find, you know, as mums, we do put ourselves last. And it's something like it's ingrained in us, or as soon as we have the child, it's not like we cease to be. But I found so many mums, and one of the reasons for writing the book and actually trying to spread the message is I had so many friends and girlfriends and then clients say, oh, I'll do that tomorrow. or I will paint again, or I'll read a book, or I'll catch up with girlfriends, or I'll do whatever lights them up, but I'll do it tomorrow. So when the child goes to kinder, or when my children go to primary school, oh no, I'll actually do it when my children go to high school. Oh no, wait. When my children go to uni, I'll finally learn French, or I'll finally do whatever it is that they're putting off. And what I've realised, and you'll find out through the book, that in our family, we've had, I could call them curveballs. We've had curveballs that have stopped us in our tracks. And one of those curveballs was our son Anton dying. So I realised really early on that for me to be the best mum that I could be, and the best mum for Andreas, is I had to do, sometimes every day, a little bit of what lights me up, and stop living that tomorrow. And for me, that could be just reading a chapter of a book, because I love reading and I love learning. For me, it's going to seminars, and for me, it's learning everything I can to better support my clients. But I found if I just took some time out for me, even if that's just 10 minutes a day to finish a cup of tea, that I was then able to better engage with what was going on in the household. And as mums, we're so caught up with mum guilt that we need to take a step back and say, look, I remember once I had a specialist. We were seeing a lot of surgeons at one stage. I think it was something like 6 specialists at the Royal Children's Hospital. And one of the specialists turned to me and said, oh, what does Andreas's mum think? And I thought, yes, I'm Andreas's mum, but I'm actually Katrina as well. And I know it wasn't said with any intent, but I think it sort of hit me because I thought I would give up my life for my children, as I'm sure every mum would. But for us to show our daughters about self-respect and self-care and about empowerment, and for us to show our sons how females can be treated in today's world and how females have a voice, and especially now with what's happening in the world, that we need to be the role model. We need to be the female that they look up to. My son knows very well what I do. And I once sat him down and said, Andreas, how do you feel about mum coaching other mums? Because it does take time away from him. You know, when my office door's closed, the only reason he's allowed to open it or slip a note under the door if there's blood that can't be fixed with a Band-Aid. That's the only reason. And then he knows how to ring 000 as well, just saying. But for us as mums, Andreas turned around and said to me, no, Mum, I love what you do because you get to help other mums. So he's seen that side as well of us, me being there. And I think it really hit home. We were somewhere, I won't say where, but one of my clients came up to me in front of him and said, can I give you a hug? And I said, of course. And afterwards, when that client walked away, Andreas looked at me and goes, do you coach such and such? And I said, yes. Because once again, coaching is confidential. Nobody knows who I coach. That's just between my client and myself. But it's funny, I wanted to call my company something about being a selfish mum, but my coach, because as a coach, I have coaches, one of my coaches said to me, you can't say that because mums don't want to be selfish. You know, selfish is seen as bad. And that's why I called the company Stress-Free Super Mum. But I want mums each and every day to have time for themselves, just to say, actually, I matter. And whether that's, as I said, having a cup of tea or reading a book or just sitting outside with your feet on the grass, listening to the birds, but know that you have the space and grace to have time back for yourself. And that's what the book's about a little bit. It's about sharing my personal story. And look, it's raw. I do talk about Anton passing away. I do talk about growing up in the house that I grew up in. I'm blunt, but the message of self-care is all through that. And what I share in the book is also techniques and tips about Sunday setup. So getting yourself organised for the school week. So the book's primarily aimed at mums who are parenting primary school age children. But I've had other mums read it now and say, oh, no, I've got kids at uni and it's still good. But it's to say to mums that let's get you organised, get the kids helping. I'm very much a fan of delegation in the house. Kids can do chores or jobs or whatever you want to call them from toddler upwards, but to bring some time back for yourself. And you've got to remember that when you start delegating chores to your children, they're not going to do it the same way that you would do it. Trust me. A number of times I want to go to Andreas's room, pull out drawers and redo it, but I don't, because you know what? He did it himself. And there's a huge benefit for children taking responsibility as well.
No, I love that. I love all of that. And I think that, like you said, it's actually jam-packed with so much inside this book. It's yes, it's for mums with young children, but like you said, there's self-care tips, you know. In chapter 11, there's some tools and techniques and quotes, you know, but some of those, even for me looking back, you know, they're great to remind ourselves. And, you know, like you said, it's the holistic approach of being able to not only look after yourself, and it's not as simple as just a cup of tea. There's like you said, it's a part of, but there's so much in here. And the coaching also allows us to see things that we can't see for ourselves, because I know that you do some one-on-one coaching too, and I know that the power of coaching is sometimes we don't know unless we've got an expert, you know, having a look at what the root cause is to something, or having a look at what we're doing that we actually can't see for ourselves. You know, I always use the analogy of a swim coach that's, you know, walking along and helping you tweak, you know, your stroke in the pool. You know, it can be that slight little tweak that can make a difference to the end result. And, you know, the person on the sidelines doesn't always necessarily need to be as good as you at the swimming, but they just know how to see things that are hidden and just remind you of how special you are, just even, you know, what you're talking about now. So I know that there's so much in this book, and like you've covered, you know, why you've written the book, who needs to read it, who's it for. But like I said, I just feel it's for women, you know, of children of all ages. But even for me, I know for me, I'm now, as you know, a new grandmother, and it's even for me reading it can, you know, help out with tips and techniques with my daughter or understanding different children. So absolutely love it. There's so much packed in here. I love the title, Wear Your Warrior. The Evolution of a Stress-Free Supermum. Absolutely love it. Wish it was around when I first had kids. Great read. But I know that, Katrina, you are doing a special here in the next 24, you know, maybe 48 hours, where we're going to release this book as a special offer that if people jump in and buy from Amazon their book, we're giving it for less than, what you say, a cup of tea, a cup of coffee. You know, just for the price of that, we're offering for people to get it out there as much as possible. I know Katrina is very generous in that way. So if you, your friends, you know, want to take advantage of this in the next 24 hours, we've put a link in for you to be able to purchase this book. Grab the book. Even if later on you want to jump on and get the physical book, I think that it's great to have something with you. Even if you're out and about, you can have the book on your phone, have a little bit of a read on your tablet, sit outside and read it. So I know that we've got that as a special. So is there anything else you wanted to add, Katrina, before we wrap up and let people jump in and buy that book so that they can read it?
With the book as well, what we've done with the physical copy is we've made it a little bit like a workbook as well. So there is places in there that you can jot down some notes or go through some of the exercises I ask you to actually go through to help you get organised, not only physically, but emotionally. So the hard copy of the book, of course, is on my website, which all you need to do is just look up Stress-Free Supermum, and it's available now. But please, if you know a mum, and I'm sure you all do, and the mums out there, it's a book. As I said, I'm sharing my personal story to say to all mums that you do have a voice, And no matter what happens to you, we can all see the light at the end of the tunnel. And as I say to myself every morning, what can I do today to make my tomorrow better? And that's not a selfish thing, because my tomorrow includes my family, my household, my friends, my clients, and my community. And that's what this is about. It's about building a village, and building a village for mums. So something that I say to all my clients and in my Facebook group is that we've all heard the African proverb, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, I believe it actually takes a village to raise a mother. And reach out to your village and the mums in your village, and especially at this price, because it's amazing, share it with them as well. So as Susan said, for the next 24, I might chat with Susan later, we might do 48, but we'll talk about that. But get out there, and as I said, it's just tools and techniques. It's written in a conversation style. So I'm actually just talking to you.
I love it. So thank you so much, Katrina, and everyone jump in the link, grab your book, and let's share this message and all be, stress-free super mums. So thanks so much, Katrina.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Bye.